So you guys know what time it is. It is time for yet another versus battle. So every week I do a versus battle where I take 2 or 3 fragrances, I put them up against each other, review all 3, and let you know my biased and unbiased review. I had a bunch of people asking me to do a review of these 2 side by side in a versus battle, but I also had a few people ask me for a third one. That is if it's compared to these 2. And I did look up on Fragrantica right before this to see if other people were saying that, and it's actually one of the most compared fragrances of these 2. So today we're going to be doing a versus battle with the new YSL MYSLF versus YSL Y Le Parfum versus, and this is the one that I didn't know was compared to it, but makes sense. This is the original Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum by Ralph Lauren. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka FragranceDoud. Happy holidays to all of you guys. Even though we're kind of in between times, you know, after Thanksgiving, it's pretty much the holidays until January. With that said, give me a present and hit that like. I'll give you a second. Yeah. Alright, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Comment below and let me know what ranking you would give for all 3 of these. I already know which one's pretty much going to be the 3rd place, but with that said, you never know. I've been kind of shocked with a lot of the answers lately, but never really. I mean, everybody has their own tastes, so it is what it is. But with that said, what we're going to be doing again, we're going to be doing yet another versus battle. Prepare for battle. And you already know that the versus battles are always pretty fun because we put them, at least for me it is. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoy them because I get to just be loose, talk about some fragrances that I enjoy, and then rank them. It's my personal opinion, so shut up. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, the 3 fragrances, if you didn't just catch that or me saying it a minute ago, we're going to be doing YSL's MYSLF. Yes, I don't have a full bottle yet because this is what I got upon release. It was the only thing available before it was released, and I'm not buying a bottle until this is gone. I also have YSL Y Le Parfum, one of my favorites. And then this one is the 2nd most compared fragrance to the myself and the 4th most compared fragrance to YSL Y Le Parfum. I had 2 people ask me to put it as in the review with it, and it is Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum by Ralph Lauren. So, how do they stack up? How do they compare? How do I rank them? We'll start out with the new release. This one I am wearing today. YSL MYSLF. Myself, I think it's a good fragrance. Whenever I first got it in, I wasn't quite sure. I didn't know because I smelled it and it's the beginning of a new line, but the bottle kind of looks like a skinny version of Y Le Parfum, and it does have pieces of Y Le Parfum kind of mixed together with a candied citrus and then kind of like La Nuit de l'Homme. It's almost like if you mixed those 3 things together, that's what you get with YSL MYSLF. I think that the ratings on Fragrantica or Shitgranica should be higher than what it is. I understand why they're lower because the people who are on there are either trolls or they don't like things that are just, especially lately, over the last like year and a half, people are being very underappreciative of fragrances that smell like other fragrances. It's like, well, it's just what's popular at the time, and this one does that. So all 3 of these fragrances are gonna have that kind of sweet aromatic mixed together with some kind of woodiness in there. Some of them go heavier on some things like the cedar. Some of them go heavier on the aromatic portion like lavender and sage. And while this one doesn't have lavender, sage, or cedar in the actual note breakdown, I can tell you it's in there. I mean, there's a definite comparison, and the only thing that they really give you with this is like a white floral and citrus. There's a lot more going on to this fragrance, and it's like there's like a lavender, some kind of sage, clary sage. It's just hiding in the background. They just didn't put it in the notes. But this one leans heavier on citrus. And while it doesn't smell like you're squirting a lemon or squirting an orange or squirting a grapefruit, it's kind of like almost like a candied sweet tart citrus. It smells like almost if you took the rinds of all of them, mixed them together, and made them like into a candy. It's like a candied citrus mixed together with this sweet and creamy white floral. Very beautiful white floral. I usually don't like white florals, but I like sweet white florals. Like Orange Blossom is one of my favorites, and that's what's in this one. I also like Lily of the Valley, stuff like that. Those are really nice sweet white florals, not the ones that smell perfumey. So you take together that sweet white floral, candy-like citrus. As you get to the dry down, you do have that sweet aromatic back tone, as well as this like YSL Y Le Parfum smell where it's almost like tonka bean mixed together with aromatic, sweet aromatics. A little bit darker, but this one's a little bit more playful. So again, mix together YSL Y Le Parfum with pieces of the La Nuit de l'Homme, because you do get like a warm spiciness to it. Mix those two together and then add in the candy-like citrus, and that is what you have with YSL MYSLF. I think that is really good. It is in my top fragrances right now, of my top 10 fragrances of this year. Not all time, obviously, but it's really good. I think that you should definitely give it a shot, and if you already gave it a shot and you didn't like it, try it again. I think that it's one that's very easy wear, and once the price comes down a bit, it's definitely going to be a nice pickup. Anyway, going into the second one. This one, actually, I'll go with this. This is the one that's kind of the odd man out here. I never even thought about it whenever it comes to the other two. But it does make sense because, again, both this and this, the notes that are most prominent are clary sage. Why can't I think about it? Clary sage, lavender, and cedar. It's just this one also adds in tonka, apple, ginger, and has more of this denser, darker tone to it. Well, this one lies heavily on that warm and creamy cedar that really comes in and plays a really main portion of the fragrance, along with this kind of sweet floral, sweet aromatic. And that's kind of been the this is Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum, by the way. Sorry, this is Ralph Lauren's Ralph's Club Eau de Parfum. So that's been kind of the thing going on. It's been a trend lately in the fragrance community, is doing this sweet take on aromatics. Because a lot of times you have like your clean aromatics, you have your fresh aromatics, the ones that you get in, like, for instance, Ralph Lauren, you have your Polo Blue line that really lies heavily on aromatics and earthiness and patchouli and stuff like that. Lavender heavy and stuff like that. But the way that they mix that clary sage and the lavender, I don't know why I can't think of lavender right now. When they mix the clary sage and lavender along with that warm and creamy cedar, it gets like almost to this almost bubble gum style aromatic, which is that it's really what's going on in the fragrance community right now with a lot of fragrances, hence the reason for this video. I mean, all of them have that kind of creamy woods, sweet floral, ambery backtone, and this one is just fresh, clean. It's the playful version of the Ralph's Club line. As you get to the Parfum, it gets more mature while it takes away some of that sweetness. And then when you get to the Elixir, that just goes straight more masculine. It's like a masculine take on the line. The more you go up in that line, the more masculine it gets. This one's just the playful version. Still a really nice fragrance. Very nice evening out, going to work. You can wear it pretty much wherever. Super versatile, sweet, aromatic fragrance that has... It smells like it has a fruitiness in the opening. It's not in the note breakdown, but it's like a citrusy fruitiness. And then when you get to the dry down, it's for sure got some kind of like tonka or something like that. It's just not in the note breakdown. But with that said, sweet aromatics, warm creamy woods, a little bit of citrus up top. That is a Ralph's Club EDP. Really nice fragrance. But nowadays, it's kind of like these two are a little bit more, what can I say, modern. While RALPHS Club EDP isn't that old, it's just, you can say these are modernized versions of the DNA. It's almost like it went from this, got more modernized with something like this, and then got even more modernized with something like that. It's just as the brands see the changes in the trends, they're just starting to just finally adjust and finally tune things where they're not going way too outside the box, but still doing something a little bit different. Last one. This one is YSL Y Le Parfum. This is my favorite blue fragrance. I can just easily say that. I mean, it's definitely my favorite blue fragrance. And a lot of people always say, ooh, Bleu de Chanel Parfum or Dior Sauvage Parfum or whatever. YSL Y Le Parfum, a lot of people just overlook it as far as being like a blue fragrance. They don't really consider, like a lot of people don't consider it that. I don't know why. But with that said, YSL Y Le Parfum, this whole line, it's my favorite line. You have the EDT. I love the EDT. And there's people out there that say the EDP is a better version. It's just an all-around better version. It makes the EDT redundant. I completely disagree. They're two different fragrances. One is super strong apple, and the other one fresh out of headache, out of the shower, easy go to work, stuff like that. Anyway, love the EDT. It was one of my favorite fragrances for a long time, and it still is. The EDP gives me a headache, but still smells great. YSL Y Live, really, really freaking good. It's almost like the playful version of it, almost like a fruity version of the line. You have FRAICHE for the summer. It's like a lemonade, juniper lemonade. Then you mix that together with this one. This is not the newest, because there's the YSL Y EDP Intense, which is probably the most versatile in the line, but I find it just kind of like a basic. The opening's awesome. The dry down is kind of just like a basic woody aromatic take on the line, which is but this one, fantastic. It is apple, ginger as you start out, but it's not as heavy as an apple as you get in the YSL Y EDP. It adds in, it's like a slight bit darker. So I say darkness, it's not like a dark fragrance, it's just a darker take on the line. You also get this nice creamy woods in the dry down. You get an ambery touch to it, as well as the addition of tonka bean to give in some of that almost luxurious feeling, but also maintaining a little bit of that powdery sweetness that you get from it. Mix that together with, again, that sweet aromatic, and that's what you have with this fragrance. Very beautiful. It has more of a fruitiness than any of the other ones, but again, it's not as playful as the other two. It's just that apple comes in. It's the YSL Y apple, which is more of a fresh apple than anything. It does have some sweetness to it, but if you want the sweetness, you're going with the EDP. This one kind of dials that back, maintains a bit more mature and dark, a little bit darker, to make it more of a night out style of the Y line. It is fantastic. It is, again, my favorite blue fragrance. I love it. It's in my top 5 fragrances. I wear it all the freaking time. And it's my daughter and my wife's favorite blue fragrance as well. With that said, getting into my rankings. Let's just say, as far as the performance, this one, it lasts like 12 hours plus. It's crazy. This one's about 7 to 8, but I don't know if it's going to change because it really hasn't matured yet. And then this one's about 5 to 6. But just based on the scent here, my unbiased ranking, what I think that you guys would rank it is 3, 2, 1. So RALPHS Club EDP, it has to some people a little bit of a harshness to it. I don't get that at all. I think it's a super nice, easy wear fragrance, kind of like Coach for Men. It has a little bit of a cheapness to it. Yes, I agree compared to the other two, but I still really like it. But I find that you guys would probably guess that. 3. YSL MYSLF 2, number 1. I'm pretty sure that for some people this might be like that, but for me, it's the same. It's number 3 is RALPHS Club EDP, number 2 is YSL MYSLF, and number 1, as always, YSL Y Le Parfum. I do think that these ones are comparable. This one is like, again, like 50% this, 25% of that candied citrus, and 25% La Nuit de l'Homme. And then you have this one that is kind of like that same aromatic, that's a sweet aromatic, mixed together with that creamy warm woods that's as far as it goes. Then they both go and do their own thing, so I understand why they're compared. But this one, very similar. There's a little bit of a fruity and citrus tone in this, which is why these are also compared. But I do like YSL myself better for that type of DNA. And Ralph's Club Parfum is my favorite because it's, again, like the mix between the, and I'm talking about the line now. So between this, the Parfum, and the Elixir, the Parfum's my favorite because it's a mix between like that really heavy maturity that you get in the Elixir and then the playfulness of this. It's kind of like directly in the middle. But anyway, let me know what your ranking is. Again, YSL Le Parfum is definitely my favorite. So yeah, thank you guys so much and look forward to another versus battle next week. If you do want to recommend another versus battle, just again, let me know in the comments and I will do it for you the next week. Thank you guys so much.